going to start fairly informally. I feel very, very weird bowing to my, continue. I feel very weird because that is actually my original karate gi over there. So if we actually bowed it to that, it'd just be all wrong. So from here, just facing the Dutch, feet together. Hey, hey. Oh, very good. Hey, you good. From here, just relaxing, just bouncing back and forth. Just loosen up a little bit. Good, arms forward, keep bouncing. Backwards. Good, out and back. Out and in. Very good. Just looking over to your left, right. Chin down to your chest, push up. Look up. Left ear to your left shoulder. Right ear to your right. Good. From here, just making Zenko Tadachi, just out to your left. Good. From here, knee down, turn over to your instep. One hand down. Bring your front foot, toe, heel out, and just drop down. Just relax. If you want, from here, just go the ball of your foot and lift up. Just suspend the bag of bones. Rolling over the heel. Good, Zenkutsu. Knee down, instep, heel, toe, relax round. If you're a clever clogs, ball the foot, come up. And circling around, heel. Good, just center your weight. Point your feet out like a duck, just pulling down. Hands flat, straighten your legs out. Good, roll up, hips. Other way. Good. Grab hold of your instep, push forward with the hip. Good. Relax, switch. Again, knees together if you can. Push your hip forward, push your hand into your instep. Good, and relax. Shaking out, just knees just forward and back. Good, everyone loose? Everyone good? Ready to move? Excellent. Okay, from here, just feet, just 50-50, about hip distance, maybe even a little further, a little shorter, just where it's comfy. And from here, put your left hand out in front. Very good. Just from here, just relaxing, just chokuzuki, just straight out. Ready, each, knee, sam, shi, go, ro, shi, hach, kyu, ju. Good. A little thing I want you to think about, just I'm sort of come out to the camera. Watch my hips to my hands. So I'm not going People love to move their hips. Look, man, I'm doing it. Not this. Drive your hip and your body with the technique. So imagine my hands, hip, body move together. One, one, one. You don't want to be click, bang, or click, bang. Together. They start together, they end together. This feeling. So try again. Slow it down if you have to. Squeeze through your butt. Push your hip forward. So when I'm punching, I'm not turning my hip. I'm simply pushing it towards the camera. I'm pushing this hip forward. This hip forward. This is the feeling you want. Ready? Hey, each knee, some, she, go, rock, shich, hach, q, ju. Okay, ready? Let's speed it up. So think from here, just push this hip, push. So what I'm doing from the floor up to my hip, push. I'm just pushing it forward, pushing it forward, pushing it forward, pushing it forward. I have this amount of time to get my hand from here to here. This amount of time. Ready? Your turn. If you need to, make your hands move faster. Ready? Itch, me, some, she, go, ok, chich, hach, chu, chu. Good, and relax. So it's important that you pay attention to your total body movement. At the point of contact, what you want is you want this leg, whatever your driving leg is. So at the moment, we're doing oizuki-like motion. So as I throw the kazamazuki-like motion, rather, as I throw this, I'm thinking this leg drive, I'm thinking this wrist turn, and I'm thinking about compressing here. So the feeling is if I hold my hands in my belt, I can feel a little bit of pressure. This is one of the reasons we wear our belts tight, not like a clever sort of, here, nice and tight. I can feel my stomach, my abs push against my belt. That very slight action as I connect. So it's breath, rotation, push, click, together is what I want. Does that make sense? So you try it slowly from here. Go. Very good. Now, as you make that compression, push, feel like, so what I'm doing is I make that breath, as I make that stop, and I'm not making it up here. It's not, that just sounds shady, right? It's here, like I'm throwing up, like I'm vomiting. It's that kind of feeling. So as I, you're right, think of it. When you come out, you've just thrown up, show everybody your abs. That's how you want to be. Have that feeling of squeezing your butt, your front down here, as I push here, pull together, and use your diaphragm to push down. Not crunch, just compress. Just compress. Not crunch, compress. So it's that. Ready? Itch, knee, some, she, go, ro, she, hach, q, ju. Very good. Now the next thing I want you to do is at the end of the technique, you've got this massive compression. This, it sticks. From here, once you've done that compression, what I want you to immediately do initially is just breathe in. Breathe. 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 Don't. Instead, breathe. 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 Again, I'm overemphasizing it for you, but you want this feeling. This is the way to let go of that compression. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to move into the next technique. Move into the next technique. Move into the next technique. Compress, 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 compress. Ready? So from here, push out, breathe, compress, and then relax. Ready? Knee. So feel up, stick, and then breathe in. Sun. Chi. Hop. Hop. Hitch. Hatch. Two. Two. Very good. One more set, and then we're going to move into something a little different. From here, as you make that compression now, make it Nihon Zuki, 2 punches. Hum, boom. But don't shortchange the first technique. Make the first one big and strong. Here, compress, compress. Except now chain them together. Not this. I'm making the breathing loud so you can hear me. So make that feeling. Boom, boom. Compress, compress. What I'm going to do, I'm going to count, but I'm going to flick through the group to see if anyone's cheating and call you out. Ready? So, itch. Good. And it's okay to be, that's totally cool. Better that than half-assing. Complete, complete. Knee. Sun. Chi. Go. Make sure that first punch would drop them. Go. Ok. Chich. Hatch. Very good. Switch feet, hands rather. More chido again. Ich. Knee. Sun. Chi. Go. Ok. Good. So just again, relax, check your shoulders out. So make sure that you don't cheat. Don't, as you do this, it's not, look, Ma, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Ma. I'm really fast. Because this middle punch, there ain't nothing there. It has to make the shape, right? So karate's about the idea of making the end position, making the end shape where your body structurally is really strong. If I do a push-up, I can hold myself here fairly comfortably, right? But anywhere in between, oh, it starts to suck, right? So as I'm here, complete the technique, make sure you get the right bone structure, that's right position, which you'll know, and the right compression in the body. Then let that go into the next technique. And this is the key for everything, whether you're making block to punch, kick to punch, whatever. Make sure that you always finish the technique that you wanted, that it has the ability to drop someone should you need it. Okay, right, from here, just making kame, this time this way. So from here now, leave one hand where it is, and just punching out, making kazami. So it's the same feeling. I'm driving off my hip and pushing. This time, instead of it being just to here, just a slight movement with the hip, bring it all the way around as if I'm doing kazamazuki. Kazamazuki, allow the hip that extra movement that it needs. So you have a little bit more time here. You ready? Ich, knee, sun, chi. So think out back. And again, feel that beautiful push between the leg, the hip, the push and the expansion, the push and the expansion, push and the expansion. Kazamazuki, in case you're wondering, if I'm here, if I make agyuke and I don't move anything, I just move my forearm, That's the correct position for Kazamazuki. It's Agyuke position. So it's not all the way out here. If I go all the way out here, my chest is all, it's all soft and stuff. I want to make it here where my chest and my pecs can flex, my back can flex. So it's actually the normal hami, the normal agyuke, this kind of position. It's not angled all the way out here. This is unnatural, yeah? It's here and pressed right in. So here you'll see people all the time that'll stretch right out. No, keep that compression. You want to be able to compress both your lats and your pecs at the same time. Remember, when you're punching, it's a grappling kind of motion. Your pecs and your frontal delts are the big muscles here. The arms aren't involved. So simply pull, simply drive off the leg, make the pull through the chest to the position it is. Don't hyperextend, you don't need to. So one more time, ready? Just nice and soft, nice and relaxed. Again, we're still loosening up. Hey, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ok, shich, hach, chu, ju. Good. So from here, make sure breath, rotation, push, all same. And the last thing is with this kamae position, don't hold kamae in a way that's sort of unnatural. From here, now I'm going to be like a rock'em sock'em robot to get it out, right? Rather point it where that fist, where that face would be. So your elbow and your forearm simply goes. You want the image that your elbow fires and your forearm simply goes along for the ride like an arrow. Does that make sense? So be very aware. It's not down here because that's the trajectory for Chudan. Jordan here. So put it on that trajectory, and this is true for also kamae. If I'm far away from my opponent, my hands are down slightly, my arm's still up, but my hand's more extended. If I'm closer, it comes up, right? So my fist is always pointing at my target. From here, mochido. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, chu, ju. Very good. One more drill. Zenko start. The Okazaki Sensei special, making gerambarai. From here, Gyatsuki ich. Now from here, Kazamazuki ni. Good. Ich, ni, ich, ni. Good. So from here, feel, push this in, rotate. You have this amount of time. This amount of time. On the next one, push, push. Don't rotate and leave. Push in and under. This feeling. Don't leave your bum behind. Don't leave it, because otherwise my body center is moving this way and I want to hit that way. So allow in and under. Then as you go, rotate round. 1, 2. Ready? Gyatsuki. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, look, shich, hach, chu, ju. Good. Switch other side. Mochido. Ready? Hey. Ich, ni, san, shi. Good. So make sure as you go, be freewheeling with the hips. The hips matter. If I'm moving my body, the whole purpose of this is that I'm moving my center. This is my belly button here. I'm moving that forward. I'm physically moving my body and my center forward into the target. So allow, as you move, rotate in, rotate in, rotate in, rotate in. Have that feeling of forward, forward, like you're slamming a door shut, like I'm opening that door, like I'm slamming the door shut, like I'm opening the door. That feeling. Don't stand here and just use your arms. Use your body to hit. I weigh about 200, 195 pounds or so. I'm trying to push all of that 200 pounds into my target, into my target, into my target, into my target every time, and not just do push-ups on them. And I'm trying not to expand it away from my target. I want every ounce that I can push into my target to go into my target. So allow here, allow here, allow here. Allow that to occur. Ready? Your turn. Gyakuzuki out. Reverse punch out. Excellent. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, go. Good. A little thing to watch. Just watch that you're not lifting the shoulder. Keep it down and flexed in. At the end of the punch, for that 1/100th of a second that you let it go, feel under here. Make sure that this is engaged. If this is up and it's soft, it's not correct. Same thing with your chest. It kind of floppy. Push, connects, connects. Push it down into the socket. So even here, strong, strong. Strong, strong. Just double check, right? This is important. Ready? Again. Ich, ni. A little bit more rotation. I'm just going through. Just some of you just double check that your hips are moving, right? You want your obies to go. Ni, san, shi, go, oh, chich, hach, chu, chu. Very good. Good. Up and relax. Everyone's warm? Good. Okay, so let's do a multi-step drill. And it can all be done in the one spot. It's a derivation of one of the ones I've done both live and also in my Sunday Zoom classes for everyone. But it's a little different. It's got a couple of other pieces. So from here, make kibarachi. Right. So just nice and relaxed, feet parallel. Bend your knees, right, nicely over your toes. Don't push your knees out. Don't have that feeling. Rather have the feeling that you're bending a board, right? So I'm thinking from my groin up here, all the way down to the outside edge of my foot, I'm simply pushing down and bowing my legs out, right? My knees will naturally then track over my toes, and I can feel this outside edge stick on. If it still doesn't feel sort of connected, what you're probably doing is leaving your bum out. So from here, just squeeze your bum underneath you. Just connect, and you'll feel it sort of open and connect. So ideally what you want is you want your butt and your heels to be in line, right? Like, there we go, in line here. You want this feeling, not this, here. Okay, so from here, same thing. So left hand out. And again, from here, those who've been sort of working with me, we worked a little bit on Tiki Shodan last Sunday. Think Hami, Shoman, Hami. As far as I can push my knees forward, but not down, I'm looking for. So forward, click, but not down. So I'm looking for that. So as I push, I've got that same hip action that I had up here. Again, only about an inch, maybe 2 inches. So from here, each knee. Good. The next one, what I want you to do, we're gonna do a simple version, then spice it up, make it into a spicy meatball. From here, without using a cover hand, just bring the short course down to Garambarai. At the same time, push off your right leg down into Zenkutsu. So from your perspective, it'll be here, down. Here, simply drop your weight. Ich. Good. Then from here, make Gyakuzuki, roll. Ich. Then from here, Agyuke, roll up. Sam. Good. Then Gyakuzuki, shi. Then rotate, shituke, around. Good. Then from here, strike straight out, Gyakuzuki. Oh. Good. Then from here, Kamae, now your right hand is out. Very good. From here, punch. 1, 2. From here, simply drop. Drop this straight down. Have the feeling of Zenkuts dropping straight down. Move your body center in the direction you want. Ich. Then rotate. San. Agyuke. Shi. Rotate round. Go. Gyaksuki. Rok. Good. Then from here, I'm sure I missed something there, but that's okay. We'll get back to it. From here, ich. Ni. Rotate down. San. Shi. Agyuke. Go. Rok. Shich. Round. Hutch. Good, and out. Ready? Ich. Ni. Drop. San. Shi. Go. Rok. Shich. Hutch. Good, and out. Right, I'll do it facing away just so you can get the perspective. Left hand should be out. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rok. Shich. Hutch. And out. Right hand. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rok. Shich. Hutch. Left hand out. Your turn. Ready? Ich. Ni. San. Drop. Shi. Go. Rok. Shich. Hutch. Cue back. One more. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rok. Shich. Hutch. Good, and back to coming. Good, and just relax out. Okay, good. So you could just simply, I could just go in and we could just wrap that out. No. What I want to do is there's certain things or elements I want you to think about. And if this is difficult for you, stay with this version, right? Don't feel any pressure as we make this more advanced, because I'm going to start fiddling with it a little bit. Okay, but do play and do try and understand the feelings that we're after. So, because this drill, the way we're doing this is this particular drill here is about transitioning from stance to stance and allowing that weight to shift and being very cognizant of where your body center is. So from Kibadachi, what I was talking about initially is making sure from the first drill, if you imagine if we were here, making that effort, making the effort. So when you drive, for example, Tiki Shodan, those who know it, it's not about just turning your upper body and making stuff. It's about driving off this leg to make the drive. It's about driving off this leg to make the drive, not just turning. No, push, 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 right? It's about using this leg. This is a much more subtle approach where all I want you to do is use this leg, pretend as if you're almost doing this. Have this feeling, but just push it as far forward as you can in the stance. Allow it to move. So keep the stance where it is. Don't allow it to break, but feel the stance in the feet. Simply push into the target. The same as when we're up here, the same as when we're down here. All of it's the same. It's just the amount that the hips can move and the restriction that the stance places on it. So allow that to happen. As you make the move, feel. Notice I'm not lifting, I'm not dropping this leg, I'm not overturning my hips, right? This becomes all unnatural. Notice this is all talked up. I'm just simply pushing my hip forward. I simply push my hip forward into my target. It's a very, very subtle movement. Don't become a loose hip person. Look, Mom, I'm doing it. No. Here. That feeling, I'm pushing off my heel, into the target. I push off my heel, into the target. So your turn, ready? Really pay attention to that heel on the base. Pay attention to this guy right here. Ready? Itch. Good, so watch those legs. And again, don't, I was just watching one of you, as you threw that first punch, you were really paying attention to, I saw, as you punch, you sort of, with your knees, don't. Feel rather pressure from here to the floor. Feel pressure, just keep this bowing, this like I'm sitting on, like I'm sitting on this punching bag, and it's here and it's nice and straight. And as I sit down on it, it bows with me. That's the feeling you want, like a bridge, like a suspension bridge. Don't actively, you don't see a suspension bridge with pieces going out and pulling. You see a suspension bridge dropping and bowing. That's the feeling you want. It should never be forced out. It should simply bow, bow each time. Ready? Hey. Again. Each. Knee. Yeah, that's much better, much better, much better. Just the two punches. Back. Each. Knee. Good. Now from here, feel elbow and hip. Feel the two of them connected. And as you make that drive, simply drop it down. So feel these muscles in here, your intercostals, your back, the whole piece, simply compress. And as you do that, push off this leg, push off the heel, press. So the feeling is here as if I've got something. It's so annoying not having humans that we can hit. It's like I'm so going to hurt myself doing this. But I'm here, and it's the feeling like I'm coming down and just, that feeling, just through my target. Those who know Chinte, this kind of feeling. Right, so it's that straight drop. And I'm going to give you a stance in a few minutes that'll make that feeling a little bit easier. But I want you to do it from what you know first. So from here, feel this squeeze down, feel this push, and feel this leg simply open and drop. Feel. So as I go, I can feel here, I feel this pull, and as I feel this pull here, as my hip turns with my body, that's the time to engage this leg. Down. Pay attention. So it's here. As soon as I feel this knee start to, there it is, there it, see it's starting to go. As soon as I feel that go, that's the time for me to engage the hip. Does that make sense? Pay attention to your body as you move. The timing is important. Don't just throw it, squeeze, and drop it. Ready? Good. Now from here, rotate the hip. The hip rotates through this hip, this part here, this side. Slam the door shut as you rotate and push. So it's not going through the center, it's going through this shoulder and this hip. Forward, that forward action. Good. Back to here. Try again. Try drop, fall down the stairs. So you hit the first step, 1. Now hit the second step, 2, 1. Good. Now from here, make UK rising block. From here, you can ride through either this axis, or this axis. So what I mean by that, I can rotate through the center. I can rotate through this axis, my far shoulder and far hip. That will bring me backwards. Notice I have to compress my leg. That's okay. It's your choice. Or I can rotate through this, and that's going to move me further forward. Choose one and do it. Be active in your decision. So it can either be center, through here, 1, here, right, through this one, that's going to bring me back and connect, or through this one, that's going to bring me forward. So looking at it from the front, I can rotate through my center. I can rotate through this shoulder, right? That's going to bring me back. I can rotate through this side. That's going to bring me forward. Make a decision. They all have different uses. Oh my goodness, they're so incredibly close to me. I need to get some room. Wow, now I'm going to come back in. Oh, look, I need to just rotate. They're in about the right place. What you're used to. Oh my goodness, now I'm just going to knock their head off and knock their head off again. They have different purposes as to which axis you rotate through. Make a decision, play with them, but be decisive in which one you use. Right, so make yatsuki. Aguke. Ich. Knee push. Very good. Let's go to the beginning. So from here. Hey. Think. Rear leg, hip, body. Ich. Rear leg, hip, body. Knee. Up. Everything. As soon as you feel that squeeze, turn. As soon as you feel this knee start to give, push. San. Rotate the hip, gyatsuki, shi. Aguke, make a decision which axis. Up. Gyakuzuki, roll, slam the door shut. Up. Good. Now from here, load first, then rotate. Ich. Very good. Like out of Kankudai, yeah? Then from here, don't step and hit. Right? Your feet move as a consequence of the body center moving. Right? You don't sit there. When I walk, I don't go, right? I just push fatness forward and my feet go out to stop me from falling over. Allow that to happen. So when you're here, don't place, just push. Guess what? You ain't going to fall on your face. You're really good at putting your foot down where it needs to go. So just think, straight line, elbow, rear leg, technique, straight in. That one breath, one move in, one move in. Almost imagine, those who do kumite, almost imagine that your front foot hits a split second after this, because your front foot is the brake. If I have my foot placed, there's nothing there. Rather, I want to be able to try and extend it, make it look sort of stupid for you. If I extend it, that feeling, that feeling, that feeling. So feel here, this one hit. So from kokuts, ready, ish, back, knee, push, back, san, good, back, chi, very good, and back, good, and then from here, come on. Now the other side, think of all those points. So a very simple drill now gives us a million things to work on, a million different variations. So once again, let's try. So now we've got our right hand out. Hey, ich, knee, simply drop. San, shi, choose your axis. Go, lock. Good. Load, expand. Don't 1, 2, 3. Just make it 1, 2, or if you're a clever clogs, 1. 1. Only if you can do it that quick, but it must start and finish together if you can choose that way. Otherwise, if you're learning and want to feel the connection of the technique, load first, then feel elbow and hip round together. As you get better, simply fire the hips, speed the arms up, and you're round. Okay? Depends on your level. Ready? Good. Now from here, gyatsuki, go push up, and come on. Good. Let's watch you. Ready? Pay attention to the points. If you need to, move slowly. Don't rush. Ready? Knee. Wait a minute. Sorry, my sense of chi is goofing up. From here, ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, kaj. Then come on. Ready? Hey, don't worry, I'll speed you up in a minute. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, look, cheech, hutch. Good, and come eight. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, look, cheech, hatch. Good, and come eight. This time, what I want, and everyone's moving, everyone's progressing. What I want you to think about this time, and I'm just going to put this belt out to represent if something fell out of my bum, right? This is where my body center falls. So what I want you to imagine, I'll try and aim it up towards you. There we go. Right. So if I orientate myself, pay attention to where your body center goes relative to this. Throughout this entire drill, it should not just remain over this line. Really be cognizant of one push forward, two push forward, right? So if I got a pencil and I stuck it up my bum, because people do that, I guess. But if I was using that and then I was drawing on paper, imagine what you would draw. Does that make sense? So as you go, as I push my head forward in Kibadachi, right? So my center's here. As I throw that first punch, boom, the center of my body moves forward about an inch, right? So I would draw a little tiny line forward from that first boom. Then I would draw a tiny line forward from that second boom, that feeling. Then when I make the first Senkutsudachi, my center doesn't remain here, it drops, right? Then my center, as I make the next one, moves forward. Then, depending on what I choose, it may move back, then forward, or it may move from here forward and forward, right? It's my choice, right? Then when I make that next turn, it remains, it rotates, whoa, on the center. Then from there, I simply shift forward. It's done a huge drive forward. Then I remake Kamae back to the center. Does that make sense? So follow where your body center goes, right? Nishiyama Sensei always used to call this body power, right? Use your body power. And all that means is use all of this to head bump into something. This doesn't matter. This does. Right? So if you're closing a car door, you can sit there, it doesn't close. But if I use good old Bessie here, thunk, the door shuts. So as you move, be really cognizant of how these different stances shift your body in directions you want as you move. Does that make sense? So this time I'm going to count you through one more time. Just one move, one count. Last time I promised, well, almost last time. But pay attention to where your body center is moving. Ask the question, if someone shoved a pencil up my bottom, what shape would I draw? By the way, it's okay to laugh, right? Okay, you ready? From here, come out. Hey, ich, ni, san, pop, shi, go, look, cheech, hatch. Good. Come on. Other side. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, look, cheech, hatch. Good. How you mate? Good, and relax. Very good. So this is using the basic stances, right? Kibadachi, Kokutsu, Zenkutsu are really extremes, right? In terms of how much you can shift your body center without moving your feet, right? That's sort of part of their purpose. It's not about just standing there and just, you know, having your feet apart and being stable. It's about shifting your mass, right? Ian Abernethy once, he has this really interesting discussion where he says that stances are not meant to be fixed positions. And he says, if you try to explain to a junior, a beginner, to drop their weight and move it forward, that'd be really hard to do. But if I tell a beginner, to simply bend their front knee and straighten their back, the act of doing that is simply move their mass forward and down, which is what you were trying to achieve. This is, I think he's absolutely right. I think this is the purpose of stances, is to shift your body weight around. So as you move, you know, for example, when I think of Zenkuts, for example, I imagine this leg, if I'm running at somebody, this leg is the end of the push on this. This one's the very beginning of doing that kind of action. And that's how I imagine Zenkuts almost all the time. Kokuts is the idea of bouncing and being able to go again, that kind of action. Kibidachi is one of the ones that's arguably fixed for a split second and then moves. That's the only real stable one that we kind of use. Shikodachi is all about just dropping down, right? Dropping body weight and so forth. So just an interesting way to think. Okay, let's change the stances up a little bit. So we're going to start with Kiba. And this time we're going to do our double punch, so get to there. Now this time we're going to use a stance that isn't very common in Shotokan. So one of the things, when I wrote my book, Sensei Riley and I had a really cool discussion about these two stances. Quite often we call footed arch and Sorchin arch interchangeably the same thing, but they're really not. Sorchin arch is the classic Kibidachi squashed over, right? This kind of idea. There is another derivative, however. So it's sort of a derivative of Kibidachi. There is another one, however, that has the same feeling as Sorchin, but what I do is I simply open this leg out. This is footed arch. So having this feeling, and its purpose is almost straight down. Notice I've got all this extra movement downward in my hip. So it's a downward weighted stance, kind of like Shiko, but I can from here now simply open my hip and drop down. Different feeling. It's like that really, you know, the Kokutsudachi that lots of beginners do. It's kind of like that. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just doing something more advanced and didn't know. So this time we've done our two punches. And what I want you to do this time, keep this rooted, keep this structure pushing out, and simply allow this leg to open and drop, like so. Very different feeling. Don't let your bum stick out. Simply open and drop straight down. This kind. Yeah. Ready? Itch. Now from here, drive, make Yakuzuki. Now go from here back into footed arch. San. Different feeling, yes. Shia. Then rotate around. Kokuts. Then from here into Nikwashi Dachi, Uchuke, then forward Yakuzuki. Very good. And come on. Okay, so what we've done is we've replaced the blocking stances, the two Zenkutsu Dachis, with footed arch, right? Plus we've added a Nikwashi Dachi to give you some inside to outside sort of tension. And again, with this drill, you can change this any way you want into whatever stance you want. You know what I mean? This is a base to practice stances. So you can play with that on your own. So from here, 1, 2, now feel, open, drop, 3, then push, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, good, so here, squeeze, 9, and then come on. Very good. Itch, knee, sun, drop, shield, push, go, roll, sheet, hatch, 2. Very good, come on. So the emphasis, just a quick comment, the emphasis from here back to the Agyuke, you no longer have these sort of key push forward, push back. The idea here now, as I make that footed arch, you've got the idea that you can move forward, you can stay the same, or you can move back. But with the addition of footed arch, what you have now is the ability to drop underneath and launch up. So this now makes use of 2 other ways to create power with our hips. lifting, and dropping, using another stance. So it introduces a whole new concept rather than just the boring rotation and translation that we're used to. Okay, ready? Try again. Hey, ich, knee, sun, drop, she, go. Now feel the hips rise. They're going to push up. Shish, hatch, two. Come on. Let's have a look. Let's watch you all. Hey, ich, knee, sun, drop. Almost. Feel. Don't be so caught up in classic karate. I am a Shotokan robot. I must do get on, but I. Right? No. Try here. Punch. Just feel. Weight, body. Feel the purpose. Go short course. Feel purpose. Right? Purpose. Drop, depending on what you want to do. Just feel it. Squeeze. This here. Boom. Boom. Pull. That feeling. And feel your whole freaking body just drop with it. You know what I mean? Allow. Then feel. Oh my goodness, your hips should never rise in karate. Baloney, look how freaking coiled my legs are under me. Right? From here, wham! You know? You do it all the time. You do it all the time. You know? So allow that drop to push and allow that. Wait a minute, sorry. Yes, yeah, it's exactly like back stance, but with more weight on the front leg. If you watch, remember I was talking about it's about your body center moving, Archie? As my body center moves, here, look how much, just a little bit and down. If I go to Korkut, that would be here, back, here, down. Forward stance, all the way to here. Does that make sense? It's kind of a weird one. Again, this is new, yeah? Or maybe not new. Okay, so from here, 1, 2, just drop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now from here, your legs are open. Again, it's not pushing my knees out, it's simply bowing from here out. This feeling in the back stance. This feeling in the back stance. There we go. As I make that compression up, as I make my load from here, simply feel, squeeze, slam the door. You're going to get kicked in the balls, guys. Click. Allow them to squeeze. Then feel them open as they push. So it's about that squeeze in, the compression from here. G'day. To, no, you don't. Yes, you do. This feeling. Right from here. 1, 2, drop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then back to Kame. Your turn while I quickly read this. Hey, ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, out, shich, hatch, ju, ju. Come on, try it, just testing. So as you pop out of the fudo, pay attention to where your target is. Right, my target is here. It's okay to lift the hip. Make sure that it's not pushing up in this direction, but it's pushing up in the angle that you want it to go. Does that make sense? So if I've got a nail like this, or so, wait a minute, there, I'll try and do it this way. I want to hit the nail, and this is somebody's face, this is my punch. I want my hips to go this direction, right? If I've got a nail, I'm going to bash into the wall this way, right? I don't want to push it this way. That's really inefficient. So as you go from here, pay attention. Is this going from here? Am I pushing up with my hip and then going in, right? Where that was hitting the nail kind of like this, or is it simply going from here straight with my tape? They must rise, but notice it's moving the same action as my technique is going. You know what I mean? So this introduces that sort of, rather than just the 2D of my hips need to track where I'm going, where I'm punching, but now what I've got to think about, if I raise and lower my hips, I've got to think about the trajectory my hips are going in the third dimension. You know what I mean? So this can be really tricky, right? And now you think about handstand. Now it becomes more interesting, yeah? Okay, one more time. I'm almost out of time. Hey, come on. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, gop, ok, shich, hach, tu. Come on. Hey, ich, ni, san, shi, gop, ok, shich, hach. Good, and up. Now, question came in, rotate ball or heel from here. For me, I rotate on my heel for this, right, as I drop down. As I push up, I actually put my ball, but notice my whole foot slides with me. Why? Because I'm a human and I have calf muscles and I like to hit things, right? If you want to be strict karate, no, it's got to be this forward action. You can do it from the heel if you're practicing traditional karate, heel in, but you'll find it awkward and hard. I push, because I've got that upward action, I'll push and use my gastrocnemius to push, but as I go, I make sure that everything then squeezes and compresses on contact as it hits. Like a cat. I throw a cat in the air, and then it walks off. It doesn't go, right? I wish I was like a cat. Move. You want the same thing. Here, push. That feeling. Right, last drill and then we're done. I want you to move exactly to my count. Okay. If you do the Zenkutsudachi one, that's fine. If you go for the Futadachi one, that's fine. I don't care. Right? Do what's right for you and what you're practicing. So from here, come on. From here, first count, 1, 2. Ich. Next one, next count, 1, 2. Knee. Next count, 1, 2, 3. Next count, 1, 2, 3. San. Very good, come on. Ready? Ich. Knee. San. Shi. Good. And come on. This time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ready? Ich. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Then 1, 2, 3. D. Good. Back to come on. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ich. Knee. Very good. And up. One more time. Whole thing, one count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your choice. And change the rhythm as you go through multiple reps. I hope you would practice this after I'm gone, yeah? Ready? Hey, H. Very good. Hey, one quick comment. Don't go so quick that it turns to slop, right? Pay attention to your technique, yeah? Remember, you just spent a good hour practicing something to get a particular thing out of it. By going quick, fast, and combining it, now what you're doing is you're testing to see if your body has absorbed it. So focus on those pieces. Mucho again, this time right hands out. Hey, H. Good, come on. This time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Twice through. Ready? Go! Much better, much better, much better. Good. And hey, man. Good. Any questions? Almost too easy, right? Karate is incredibly basic, or it should be. It's about paying attention to detail. In my mind, when I train, it's about paying attention to the small stuff, forcing my body to do the small stuff, forcing it to do what I want. And I can't do that if I just rip stuff out. The very best karate practitioners that I know will be able to throw a technique and analyze what that technique did in real time, right? And what they're able to do is they can replay it in their head and go, oh my goodness, I've got to fix this, 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 and this. For me, it takes me a half beat, or I have to go through the whole lot and go, oh my God, what a cock up, right? You know, you've got to, as you go, but what I encourage you to do, no matter what level you are, whether you can do it in real time or you're doing it step by step, reflect constantly. Never let a technique go by that you don't reflect back and try and fix on the next rep, right? Unfortunately, you know, and instructors allow your students time to be able to reflect on each count. Don't just rep out, ich, ni, san. There's time for that. But there's also a lot of time to be able to get them to get better, because 1,000 reps, yeah, it's still 1,000 reps, but guess what? They're still wrong. You know what I mean? It's better to do that 100 reps where every single one is a little bit better than the other than reinforcing the wrong stuff. And I really work with that with my students up here in Rhode Island, and I guess down in Virginia as well. So that's sort of my parting message. You know, it's pay attention to your karate, really pay attention to the small stuff, step by step. Okay? And with that, let's bow out. Hey, whoop, wait a minute, let me just check. The message came in. Sensei, can you leave the name of both stances? Yeah, so it's just, it's Fudodachi. You won't find it, well, actually the only place you'll find it written down is actually probably in my book. When Sensei Riley did the proofreading for it, he actually had to, he emails me, he goes, oh my God, where'd you dig this up from? And he actually had to dig it, he had to dig way back in his literature to actually find it, which was hilarious. So yeah, it's actually pretty hard to find. Where you see it used a lot is my good friend, Dr. Matt Payne. If you've seen his trainings, if you link to my Facebook page, I advertise his trainings. He did a training at 2:30 today from the UK. His particular Shotokan organization uses Fudodachi a lot, and that's where I got it from, right, and incorporated it. And it's really, you'll see it, and it becomes super duper useful as you sort of develop through. So with that, let's bow out from here. Thank you so much for inviting me. You know, it's awesome to get there and train with other people, and actually to have we have a really wide variety of people. So 40 of us training today. So that's awesome. Hey, Sudach. Hey, hey. Oh, hey. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. Call somebody who's older and make sure they're okay. I have a Rolodex that I check up on each week.
Ross, thank you, Sensei.